In the middle of an Indian city, you are never truly alone. Safety is a byproduct of density. There are eyes in every window and a constant hum of activity that makes it impossible to simply disappear. But the highways bridging these cities offer a different reality. These sprawling roads cut through hundreds of miles of desolate rock and scrubland. During the day, they are lifelines of commerce. After midnight, they become a vast, unmonitored void. This is where Satish's family finds themselves during a 20-hour journey to a remote village. On a road this empty, the darkness feels heavy, pressing against the windshield as the car's headlights struggle to illuminate the asphalt. Total isolation like this triggers a specific psychological response. The brain begins to crave any sign of civilization, a light, a building, or the promise of another human being. Survival instincts prioritize warmth and food over the caution you'd normally feel in the wild. When a brightly lit dhaba, a roadside diner, suddenly appears in that impenetrable darkness, it feels like an answer to a prayer. In local folklore, however, this sanctuary is often a construction of the Chudail. This malevolent witch uses the traveler's own desperation to build a perfect, localized trap. These stories persist because they highlight a terrifying vulnerability. The monster uses your basic biological needs as the bait, transforming your search for comfort into the very thing that leads you off the road. The strategy begins with an imitation of the familiar. To draw a victim in, the entity manifests a physical space that matches their immediate needs, right down to the soot on the kitchen walls and the smell of spices. We see this tailored approach in two different legends. For Satish's hungry family, the entity presents a bustling kitchen with hot food ready to serve. For a solitary traveler on a cold night, it might be a welcoming fire and a friendly owner offering stories to pass the time. This chart tracks the illusion over time. Comfort remains steady until the anomaly zone. Supernatural entities cannot maintain perfect simulations forever. A glitch appears. Satish notices the staff possess alte pair, completely inverted feet. The heels face forward, signaling the world's logic is breaking. The anomalies quickly become more gruesome. Peering into the kitchen, Satish finds that the meal they were about to eat isn't vegetables or meat, but a pot filled with severed human heads simmering on the stove. These horrific reveals serve a purpose. By the time the traveler notices the tell, they are often already inside the structure. The shock creates a moment of cognitive dissonance, freezing the victim in place, while the entity prepares to close the exits. Once the victim realizes they are in a trap, the entity moves to its final stage. At this point, the monster anticipates the victim's reaction, using their natural impulse to flee or help against them. When Satish's family panics and tries to escape, the entity drops the facade of the diner. The ghosts physically anchor the car, holding it in place even as the tires spin fruitlessly in the dirt. Escape is only possible through an equally violent counter-response. Satish has to abandon the traditional path of flight. He throws the car into reverse and uses the vehicle's weight to physically crush the entities holding him back. Other versions of the trap target different human traits, like heroism. In the story of the solitary traveler, the entity creates a scenario where innocent voices plead for help from inside a magical cage, baiting the man to act as a savior. The traveler falls for the ruse. By opening the cage to free the victims, he discovers the friendly dhaba owner was the predator all along. The act of mercy becomes the literal key that lets the monster in. This makes the Chudail's architecture particularly effective. It is a system designed to exploit specific human impulses, punishing the instinct to run just as effectively as it punishes the desire to do good. Beyond the mechanics of the trap, there is the question of why these entities exist. Why go through the effort of building a fake diner in the middle of a forest? For Satish's haunted dhaba, the motive is a traumatic loop. The entities were a real family, murdered by travelers over a minor disagreement. Their spirits remain bound to the road, recreating their workplace to draw in new victims who resemble the people who killed them. In contrast, the witch with the cage appears to be a pure predator. She isn't reliving a tragedy, she is hunting for sport, specifically preying on those who ignore local warnings or let their curiosity override their caution. These legends are more than just ghost stories. They act as a cultural reflection of the very real anxieties people feel when traveling through unpoliced, isolated territories where help is hours away. The takeaway is a grim one. The next time you are driving through the pitch-black night and a perfectly placed oasis appears in the distance, remember Satish. If it looks too welcoming to be real, you might be driving directly into a trap designed just for you.